free and 30% off your My Pillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Frustrated with heavy rubber hoses that always get tangled and easily kink? Introducing the Bionic Flex Pro hose, the super strong, super tough hose that's ultra light as well. Run over an ordinary hose and it'll easily burst, but the Bionic Flex Pro hose stays intact no matter what runs over it, because its reinforced drag-resistant commercial-grade outer polyester weave makes it tougher and stronger than ever. And its solid brass fittings are crush-proof too. Ordinary hoses kink easily and stop working, but the Bionic Flex Pro hose never kinks. It just keeps flowing strong. And while regular hoses easily get tangled, the Bionic Flex Pro hose is tangle-proof. You can get the 25-foot Bionic Flex Pro hose for just $19.95 with free shipping. But wait, order today and we'll upgrade your order to a 50-foot Bionic Flex Pro hose. Just pay a separate fee, and shipping is still free. Go now.
Call 1-800-313-8062.
From our Denver studios, it's America's Voice Live with Tudor Dixon and Steve Gruber. America's Voice Live.
Welcome to America's Voice Live on this Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020. We're always happy to have you joining us here on Real America's Voice. Let's take a look at today's headline news. This Friday, the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will become the first woman to lie in state in National Sanctuary Hall in the Capitol. Senator Lindsey Graham says he has the votes to confirm the new justice before the election. And the much-anticipated presidential debate is now less than a week away, and debate moderator Chris Wallace has released the topics. We'll cover those shortly. But first, a bombshell report out of the Senate on Hunter Biden's dealings in China, Russia, and the Ukraine. Steve?
Well, Tudor, it is a remarkable document, to say the least. 87 pages in length is the document put forth by a report spearheaded by Chuck Grassley, the Iowa senator, and it is put forth by the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. And the revelations in here are stunning. They're complicated. They're deep. Let me sort it out for you for a few minutes here. Hunter Biden, according to reporting from several sources, received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Elena Baturina, the richest woman in Russia and the widow of Yuri Lutsov, the former mayor of Moscow. Senate Republicans revealed in their report on the younger Biden's work in Ukraine. Baturina is referenced in the document several times, which was released earlier today, addressing her payment to Biden's investment firm in early 2014. Now, the probe also found that Baturina sent 11 wire transfers between May through December 2015 to a bank account belonging to BAK USA. That's a tech startup firm that went bankrupt with $39 million in losses in March of 2019. 9 of those 11 wire transfers were sent to Rosemont Seneca Thornton. Now, that might sound familiar. That is an investment firm founded by Hunter Biden. Again, he is the son of presidential nominee Joe Biden, the former vice president. He started that firm with Chris Hines, the stepson of the former Secretary of State John Kerry, before being transferred to BAK USA. All 11 transactions describe the payments as a loan agreement in the details section. Some 11 wires amounting to $391,000 plus sent through. Now, that's just part of the tip of the iceberg, because as we dig deeper into this report, again, it's 87 pages long. We find that the presence of Hunter Biden on the Burisma board was very awkward for all U.S. officials pushing an anti-corruption agenda in Ukraine. That's one of the quotes put forth in the document by George Kent. You may remember his name from the impeachment proceedings. George Kent is the Deputy Assistant Secretary of European and Eurasian Affairs. He's quoted numerous times. Again, this investigation was launched after Finance Committee Chair Chuck Grassley of Iowa publicly raised conflict of interest concerns about the sale of a U.S. company to a Chinese firm with ties to Hunter Biden a month before Congress was notified about a whistleblower complaint that was the catalyst for the Democrats to pursue impeachment proceedings against the President of the United States. A few other tidbits here. Former Secretary of State John Kerry had knowledge of Hunter Biden's role, this is what the report says, on Burisma's board. But when asked about it at a town hall event in New Hampshire in December of 2019, Kerry falsely said, I had no knowledge of any of that. No, none. John Kerry being called a liar in this report. It's stunning. It is a bombshell, to say the least. Hunter Biden called out for getting millions and millions of dollars in deals involving places that his father was deeply involved during the Obama administration. To say this is awkward and troublesome would be a significant understatement. Hunter Biden was serving on Burisma's board, supposedly consulting on corporate governance and transparency, when he was paid another $7 million, when another agent was paid a $7 million bribe to officials serving under Ukraine's prosecutor general. This goes on and on and on. By the way, Hunter Biden, Tudor, was a protectorate of the United States Secret Service from January 29th of 2009 until July of 2014. This is a complex report. It's deep. It's damning. It calls out Hunter Biden. It calls into question Joe Biden's association with some of these things. And it calls John Kerry flat out a liar in public. This is going to go right to the heart of a lot of the alleged corruption that people have pointed their fingers at involving the Obama administration. It will raise questions again about Burisma, Hunter Biden, and what Joe Biden may have known about all of these dealings that lined his son's pocket apparently exceptionally well, including that $3.5 million payment from the former wife of the mayor of Moscow, Russia. It does come back to Russia eventually, but on a different lane than we were told originally. Tudor, we've got a lot to cover here. We'll be covering the story in the days to come.
We spent 2 years covering Russian collusion, saying that the president was the one colluding with Russia. Here we have this report saying that Hunter Biden has received millions of dollars from a very powerful, the only billionaire, female billionaire in Russia.
Right.
He received millions of dollars.
And let's think about this. It's not just Russia, it's Russia. We know $1 billion loan from China. We see connections here to a Chinese high-tech firm that went bankrupt with $39 billion in assets lost. We have connections to Ukraine and the corruption there. This is a web of corruption that has been peeled back by Chuck Grassley. I don't think it's the end of it. I think it's just the beginning. And I think it's a very bad day for the Biden campaign. It's a bad day for Hunter Biden. It's a really bad day, I believe, for John Kerry and the Obama administration for all of the things that it reveals here. The report, the gloves are off, I think it's safe to say here, Tudor.
Right, as you said, they were made aware, and it was turned aside. They looked aside. They didn't even investigate this. And we're talking about criminal charges as well. There's records of possible criminal activity here. He potentially was involved with a Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. That was along with associates from Ukraine, China, and Russia all together. There's a lot in this bombshell report. As you're saying, we will break it down. But we do want to get back to things that are happening today in the United States. Here we have, as of today, Justice Ginsburg. She will be lying in repose at the top of the steps of the Supreme Court, Steve. But her casket will move Friday to the Capitol, where she will then be lying in state. I want to talk about this because this is a great honor. Only 34 other people have been honored in this way, and all of the others who were lying in state were men at the time. Justice Ginsburg is the first woman to lie in state. Now, you and I had some discussion earlier. I want you to take over now, because we did have Rosa Parks, who did lie in the Capitol. It's considered lying in honor, though. But you're saying, same thing.
Well, we had to go to the judges to get a clarification on this, Tudor. Now, having said that, Rosa Parks did lie in state. Her casket was there October 30 and 31, 2005. George W. Bush made that possible. But she was lying in honor, apparently, because she's not a government employee. Whereas Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a government employee. But I wonder, we're elevating some of these people to superstar, rock star status, and I wonder if it's really a good idea. Yes, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an exceptional jurist who was there for 27 years, well known and respected by many in this country, revered by some, reviled by others, but it makes you wonder. Clarence Thomas has been there for 29 years. He's been there longer, went through a bruising confirmation process back in 1991. Will he be offered the honor of lying in state at the Capitol? You have to wonder about that. What about Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman on the United States Supreme Court? She's still alive at the age of 90 years. She retired, I believe, in 2006. So you have to reflect on all of this and say, okay, I don't have an issue with Ruth Bader Ginsburg lying in state. That's fine. Honor the woman. Many people revere her. But my question is, who gets the honor and who doesn't. I'm kind of curious, I suppose, as to who makes that decision, who makes that call. And I'm not really sure that we got an answer to that, but no. Rosa Parks was the first woman that I can find that was to lie in honor, or whatever you'd like to call it. I think we're splitting hairs a little bit on the technical definition. That happened in 2005. I believe all others were men of all the notes that I read. So it's an important day for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then I think she transfers, as you said, after today and tomorrow, Friday, to the Capitol Rotunda, and then on to her ceremony for her passing this last Friday.
Yes, absolutely. On Friday, she will have a ceremony at the Capitol. They will have a ceremony, and then the president has agreed that he has come out and said that he will announce the new nominee on Saturday. He did say that he wanted the country to have that chance to grieve, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be laid to rest in Arlington Cemetery on Tuesday. But Saturday, he has come out and said that he will announce his nominee. It's long awaited. People are very curious. We'll be right back here on America's Voice Live.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this. Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advanced Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain, and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
Steve, we know, as we were just talking about, the president will be choosing his nominee and announcing it on Saturday. Now, Lindsey Graham has come forward and said that the Senate has the votes necessary. We know Mitt Romney was in question, but he came forward and said that this is what history says we should do, and he will vote for the nominee if they are the appropriate person. So here's Lindsey Graham saying that he has those votes. Here it is.
It's pretty obvious they want an outcome. They'll destroy anybody's life to keep these seats open. They said they tried to destroy Brett Kavanaugh so they could fill the seat. They were dumb enough to say that. I've seen this movie before. It's not going to work. It didn't work with Kavanaugh. We've got the votes to confirm Justice Ginsburg's replacement before the election. We're going to move forward in the committee. We're going to report the nomination out of the committee to the floor of the United States Senate so we can vote before the election. That's the constitutional process. After Kavanaugh, everything changed with me. They're not going to intimidate me, Mitch McConnell, or anybody else. I'm getting outraised 3-1, outspent 4-1. If you want to help me fight back, go to lindseygraham.com.
So he says he's not going to be intimidated. Yeah, he mentioned that several times, because he is being outraised. But Steve, that's what's happening right now. The Democrats are out in full force bringing in money so that they can overturn and pack the court. They've all been talking about the need to pack the court. You had Senator Hirono come out and say, well, this is just what did she say? Court reform, necessary court reform.
Yeah, she called it court reform. Yeah, she called this necessary overdue court reform, did Mazie Hirono of Hawaii. But the fact of the matter is the Republicans have the votes. They got the control of the Senate in 2014, retained control in 2016, expanded the majority by 2 seats in 2018. And so that is the fact. And the constitutional requirement is the president puts the nominee forward, and then the Senate either says yes or no on the nominee, and that's where we go from there. So it's a lot of interesting comments going back and forth. Now, Lindsey Graham says they'll put the nominee on the floor for a vote before Election Day. I believe that will happen. Mitch McConnell believes that will happen. But what's interesting to me is that on the other side, the slings and arrows coming already for Amy Coney Barrett, being told that she's part of a cult by being so devout in her Catholicism. I think that it's a bit rough on her. And then it's the other games that are being played. Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats throwing out the idea, as you said, Tudor, packing the court. What about impeachment? That's what Nancy Pelosi keeps toying with. What if we try to impeach the president again? I think it's a terrible political idea, but here's what Nancy had to say about it, Nancy Pelosi, about impeachment. Here it is.
And this appointment, the reason the president and Leader McConnell are moving forward so quickly is because they want to overturn the Affordable Care Act. And when people understand, and they do, what this means in their lives, no more benefit of the pre-existing condition, no more having your children be on your policy until 26 years old, no more having Medicaid expanded to cover long-term health care and the needs of our children with pre-existing conditions, and returning to a time where being a woman is a pre-existing medical condition. The people know that, and that's why the Republicans are rushing. They want to get it done so they can overturn the Affordable Care Act.
It's a lot to digest from Nancy. It's amazing to watch her keep a coherent thought for that long. It's impressive, really. But there she is laying it all out, Tudor. As you said, they want to talk about impeachment. They want to make it about abortion. They want to make it about anything besides the constitutional procedures that are laid out quite clearly that make this the appropriate move. If they wanted to argue about an election, maybe they should argue about the 2016 election, the one that they thought that they were going to win, and they lost. And then Kayleigh McEnany came out and she said, well, that's what Nancy had to say. Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, responding to Pelosi's not so subtle threats about what's going to happen next. Listen to this.
First, to pursue impeachment based on someone executing their lawful duty, their constitutional duty, is just preposterous. And it told us a whole lot about what Democrats use impeachment for. It shows that they've always viewed impeachment, at least in the Nancy Pelosi era, as a partisan tool to take down a sitting president, to disempower the American people who voted to empower President Trump. They've used impeachment as a political tool, and that will be the history and the record of Nancy Pelosi. And now she's on the record saying that she would even use impeachment to try to undo the Constitution, particularly Article 2, Section 2. That is shameful but unsurprising from the Speaker.
But I have a question for you as we look at all this, Tudor, and that is simply this. Now with this bombshell report that we talked about at the top of the program, with all these ties between Hunter Biden and Burisma and the Ukraine, and somehow it was the President of the United States that became the target of impeachment efforts when he asked about Hunter Biden, when he just asked and said, oh, what do we know about this? Can we look into this? And then impeachment's thrown out again, and it makes you wonder what's really going on and what's the real secret or secrets being hidden by all of this. I see a lot of smoke and mirrors, but I wonder what's really going on, and I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said that for a long time. You had all of these candidates. You ended up choosing the one who is clearly suffering from dementia now. We've seen that in several cases from his behavior alone. But now we're seeing that it's not just Hunter Biden. We're seeing John Kerry's stepson. How many other people are involved in this? And how far open can Pandora's box come? Once you open it, do you have multiple children, multiple relatives, multiple people of state who are suddenly involved in all of these dealings and are getting cash from other countries? And all of a sudden the swamp is really wide open, because this is what the president has come out and warned about for years. There is a swamp in Washington. They do very bad things. I think it's almost become a buzzword that people have stopped thinking about, that this actually exists, but it truly does exist. There are these people that do bad things, and they need to be held to account. Now, you have Nancy Pelosi come out, and she talks about the Affordable Care Act because it's distract, distract, distract. Because if she can come out and tell you that he doesn't care about pre-existing conditions, you will turn a blind eye. Now, we've had Natalie Harp on this program several times, who has talked about the fact that she had cancer. He allowed her the Right to Try Act. She is now living with cancer based on the fact that she was able to try this medication. You heard Kayleigh McEnany talk at the RNC about how much he cared about her breast cancer situation. This is not the president they make him out to be, but it's distract, 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 Steve.
It certainly is. And I'm going to go back to one thing that you talked about and mentioned here, that as I read closer here, because I'm reading bits and pieces of this report over the course of the program here. Hunter Biden paid non-resident women, you mentioned this, who were nationals of Russia and other Eastern linked to an Eastern European prostitution and human trafficking ring. If Hunter Biden is linked to human trafficking and prostitution in Eastern European countries, how demeaning to women in America, how demeaning to the entire process. Hold that thought. This is America's Voice Live. Steve Gruber and Tudor Dixon. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life.
They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Continuing on this Wednesday in America's Voice Live, Steve Gruber, Tudor Dixon, busy news day. No surprise, they all seem to be busy news days these days. That report's going to consume a lot of our time going forward. But we wanted to show you something here. And Tudor, I want you to weigh in on this because this is kind of striking. You look back at the vice presidential debate back in 2012. And you look at Paul Ryan and Joe Biden on the debate stage, you kind of get a feel for where Joe Biden is, right? He is peppy, he's quick with the retort, he's fast on his feet, he's quick with the remark, and he's up there against Paul Ryan, a much younger man. Does not appear to be the same guy that we see these days. I mean, we saw him come out after the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg most recently, and he's kind of mumbling and he's looking down, he's fussing with his mask, he's not really there. Everything he's doing now seems to be on a teleprompter. Even what should be softball interviews are on a teleprompter. And to me, even, and you remarked on this, Tudor, so I'm going to bring you in on this because what you said was, even when you watch it with the sound down, You don't have to watch the debate with the sound up. Just turn the sound off and look and compare Joe Biden in 2012 to how Joe Biden looks today. And it's remarkable, isn't it?
That was what struck me as I'm watching TV with the sound off, and I see him debating Paul Ryan, and I said to myself, this is not the same man. You can see in his mannerisms, he's so quick, he's moving his hands, his mouth is moving faster. You can see when you do that side by side with the split screen there, you can see him today, just 8 years later. He's very slow, his hand motions are slow, almost as if he's being careful with his own body. You can see that he's moving back and forth in the 2012. Just his body language is very confident in 2012. He's ready to take on, he keeps calling him my friend here, Paul Ryan. He's ready to take him on. And he's definitely someone who is able to debate. You look at this and you say, this man is capable of being in government. The man below, you can see he's frail, he's struggling, he's talking slow.
Frail,
he doesn't
that's
have
the right word.
The power behind him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the power.
No, that's a great word. Yeah. Frail is the word you use there, Tudor. I think that's exactly the right word. He looks frail, fragile. Mm-hmm. As you said, protecting his body to some extent. But his staff continues to protect him every step of the way. Whether it's using prompters for what should be easy interviews or cutting interviews off, or has he answered a question after giving remarks? I mean, his stump speeches run a remarkable 9 minutes, sometimes 10 if he's really going for it. By contrast, the last speech, I think last night's speech was 95 minutes in Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. And in fact, the president decided to have some fun with Joe Biden and the mask and everything that's going on, because I guess it's no secret that maybe Joe Biden had some hair plugs. I mean, I wouldn't know about that, but you know, people with a better eye might have an ability to figure that out. Apparently, the president has a better eye. He has some comments about Joe Biden and some work getting done, a little tune-up. Here's what the president had to say in Pennsylvania.
I wonder, in the debate, it'll be him and I on the stage. Is he going to walk in with a mask? I'll be honest. He feels good about the mask, and that's okay. You know what? Whatever makes you feel good, he feels good. He feels good. I mean, honestly, what the hell did he spend all that money on the plastic surgery if he's going to cover it up with a mask? Seriously, the whole deal.
Yeah, I found it. I thought it was a pretty good zinger. What do you think? You think it's me? You know, I don't know. I don't know.
Those
that Joe
are the
Biden's
reasons
had
some
plastic
people
surgery,
love him and some people don't like that stuff. But yes, he is definitely a comedian when he has those rallies.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good line. I've seen some things that were intended to be comedy that were more mean-spirited than that. I actually found that to be kind of fun. And I did, come on. I mean, is it any secret that Joe Biden's had hair plugs? I've heard lots of people say that. I don't know. I'm not his plastic surgeon. I don't give him Botox injections. I'm just saying, I've heard lots of people say that, people that should probably know. I'll defer to the health and beauty experts, Tudor, so I'll defer to you.
I will say that when you've been in public life for as long as he has, there are pictures of you throughout that public life. So I will say there was a period of time, not so much hair up here. Now there's a little bit more, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that grew. Was it a miracle? I'm not sure. Maybe it was plastic surgery. Maybe that's what he's referring to. I think that potentially at the beginning of all of this presidential hoopla in the beginning of the year before COVID, or maybe even after COVID, when we were seeing him on these shows all the time, there was a point when he had a very stiff forehead, and that may have been noticed by some folks that potentially he was trying to look a little bit younger. He would be the oldest president.
Well, yeah, by far. And maybe he had Ron Popeil's, hair in a can. The aerosol, the Ron Popeil thing from the, remember that? You used to take the bald spot and, let me just adjust my hair. Is it straight?
Oh, stay tuned.
We'll take a
We'll
break.
be right
I'm going to get
back.
my hair put on straight.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges,
and even shaves with micro precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look, the Solo Full Body Groomer trims precisely the length of hair you want. Snap off the guide and remove unwanted hair anywhere in seconds. What makes Solo different than your ordinary razor? Dual-sided German stainless steel blade. Shave up or down at 200 microstrokes per second. The Ultra Flex pivoting head contours perfectly to you for precise results. 3 custom grooming guides for control of exact length and shape. And a built-in LED light so you never miss a spot. Solo is so precise, you need no creams, no soaps, and no water. Ditch the old man clippers and toss the scissors. You've got to go solo. Call 1-800-709-9777 or go online at microtouchsolo.com and get yours now for only $19.99. Complete with German stainless steel blade, pivoting head, built-in spotlight, and 3 custom grooming guides. Everything you see here for just $19.99. The all-new MicroTouch Solo Full Body Groomer. The one tool that does it all.
Steve, we're going to be talking about this bombshell report with Hunter Biden for probably days, maybe even until the election now. But one of the things that we both pointed out earlier is that they have reports within this report connecting Hunter Biden to sex trafficking rings in Eastern Europe. We want to bring in Jakub Boyens. He is our sex trafficking expert. We love having him on to talk about these tough issues because he covers them so well. Jakub, welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
You know what we're talking about.
This reports here. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you look at the reports here, the delay kills me sometimes. But the report here with Hunter Biden, Eastern Europe, prostitutes, sex rings. What do you make of it when you see this in the report? I mean, this is pretty damning.
Very damning. Not surprising at all. It's about time that we start pressing on Hunter Biden again. Where's Hunter? And Hunter's activities in Europe. Look, the Ukraine is a thoroughfare for sex traffickers in Europe. So any ties him and his father has had with the Ukraine, not surprised at all. Eastern Europe, however, we've got big issues with sex trafficking in Eastern Europe. Some of the characters that he's been in touch with, you are going to find those characters in nefarious activities, in sex trafficking, drug trafficking, because all those things run hand in hand. Money laundering, smuggling. You cannot find sex trafficking without it being tied to money laundering and drug trafficking. So there's going to be a lot to answer for here with Hunter, and it's good stuff. We need to uncover all this evil.
You know, Jakub, I think that a lot of people don't realize that Eastern Europe is so dangerous for sex trafficking. I actually did a lot of business in the Czech Republic, and they would say that they wouldn't even travel to Turkey with their wives because you could be at a market and someone would just disappear right next to you. So can you explain that to our audience, how this is very dangerous? And so when you hear Ukraine in those places, you automatically think that this could be what happened with Hunter Biden.
No question. The Ukraine, Czech Republic, Georgia, Russia, these are cultures where the role of a woman historically has been downplayed as someone that's here for the satisfaction of men. That's just a fact. And historically, we've had major issues. Romania, sex trafficking in Romania is out of control at the moment. Currently, we've got U.S. organizations in Eastern Europe fighting the fight on behalf of the people in that country because their governments do not frown upon this. So there's no question that we're going to uncover a lot here. And as I said before, where there's money in Eastern Europe, like the U.S., unfortunately, you're going to find trafficking. No question.
Jaco, when you look at a report like this and you see the connections and the dots are all put together and you realize that it could involve members closely related to the United States government, higher end of the United States government. Are there criminal charges here? I mean, it happens in Ukraine or Russia or wherever it may happen on the other ends of the earth. Is there anything under American law that we can do to stop this kind of trafficking? These are horrendous crimes that are perpetuated upon women and young girls and sometimes boys as well that we need to put an end to. Now, we know that the Attorney General Bill Barr has put another $100 million behind trying to stop sex trafficking. But what else can we do? Can we charge some of these people when we find some of these allegations to be true?
Yeah, look, Hunter's an American citizen. Of course, we need to look at the jurisdiction and the judicial process, in wherever it may be, Romania, the Czech Republic, Ukraine. But he's an American citizen. And what I can tell you here, guys, that I have found, if they do it there, they're doing it here. It's a nature of a man. It's a nature of a man to have a propensity towards sex with children or sexually abused individuals. So when we start pulling on this thread of what Hunter's ties are in Europe, Eastern Europe, then we need to pull on the thread. What is his ties to the sex trafficking networks inside the United States as well? Don't pass over that. We shouldn't skim over that, because that type of behavior, to a degree, you will go to let Vegas stay in Vegas, right? But you bring it home with you. So yes, it can be prosecuted, but we need, members of those societies of the public to speak up, because the leadership in those nations historically have not done anything to protect their own people in this regard, which is why President Trump is such a front runner in fighting the fight against child sex trafficking, because no other leader of any nation has ever taken that kind of an initiative.
Well, speaking of sex trafficking in the United States, we know we have the Jeffrey Epstein story still unfolding. Now we have they're subpoenaing the records for the aircraft. So you have the Attorney General for the U.S. Virgin Islands asking for those flight logs. Now, this also is connected to people in government here. We're not saying that this is connected to Hunter Biden, but we know that in the past, we've heard that Bill Clinton was on those logs. We know that in Europe, you have Prince Andrew, who has now had his Royal Highness title dropped in the latest tweet from the family. So we don't know if that indicates that they have evidence that this is very bad. But what does it mean for this Attorney General from the U.S. Virgin Islands to have these flight logs?
This is a huge breakthrough, because I've said this since 2007. Why are we not questioning the pilots, the flight attendants, the crew, the physical crew at the airport? They saw the kids get off the plane. It's not like these kids got off the plane and the women and girls got off, or even President Clinton, for that matter, got off the plane sight unseen. Okay, so they know there's so much information on the island, and it's about time that the island and the Virgin Islands take initiative and say, hey, we don't want to be smeared in this thing. We want future tourism here. We want to be a good player in the world. And that their AG is saying, we're asking, we're subpoenaing, we're going to talk to the pilot. And now the pilots are scattering, by the way. There are many pilots that have flown those planes that know exactly what happened on those planes, that were bought off, sworn to secrecy, non-disclosures, etc. It's time to speak to the hotel staff, the ground crew, restaurants, anybody that saw Epstein and his posse on that island. Time to hear from them.
Well, let me focus on it again here, Jaco. Let's shift gears to this. These are flights that originated in the United States, many of them, correct? These are flights that had American citizens going back and forth to the U.S. Virgin Islands, so back and forth from sovereign territory to sovereign territory. If crimes were being committed, and now you have the flight logs of the people that were on these flights, it opens up the door for investigators. We know Bill Barr takes this all very seriously. $100 million he just reinvested into going to fight human trafficking. Could we see possibly the FBI or others at the Department of Justice pointing their finger and leveling charges at some of the people that were involved with some of this behavior?
Absolutely. You're going to have the CIA involved as well. Interpol at some point is going to get involved here, because some of these flights went through Turkey. So why Turkey particularly, right? And Turkey was kind of a connection point for Epstein. Absolutely, we're going to see charges. You're an American citizen. If you go and abuse and rape a child on foreign territory, you're under our laws here. And many of these children, remember, that were abused on the island were American children. They're American kids that were transported there. So just because you do it over there doesn't mean you get a pass. I absolutely expect the book of law to be thrown at them, and I expect prosecutions, yes.
Really quick, I want to cover one more story. In Seattle, they are paying Andre Taylor, an ex-pimp, $150,000 to offer alternatives to policing. The things that he's saying is, hey, I can talk to all the people on the street better than anybody else. We have about a minute and a half left. Tell us, what's your take on hiring an ex-pimp, paying him this much money to get rid of cops?
1999 American Pimp, Andre Taylor was in that film, and that film glorifies the abuse of women, right? This guy is a sex offender. He's a pimp, sold people for sex, and the radical left in our country is resorting to bringing these individuals into a city instead of good, amazing men and women in blue to protect our nation. This is so telling, Tudor, of what our country is going to look like if they'll bring a pimp. This is why some of them are defending cuties in Netflix. You think it's bad to defend cuties? How about putting a pimp in charge of security of your city? Why is there not a massive outcry from the public?
There should be. There should be. It's inexcusable. Jaco, thank you so much for being here again. Jaco Boyens, greatly appreciate your input, his expertise, Tudor. Second to none in this topic. But, all of these things, whether it's flights to the islands that Jeffrey Epstein took his clients, or whatever you would call them, in Seattle, I mean, that's bizarre to me. Isn't that odd to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at, I think it's very interesting that they have flights that go through Turkey. It's very telling exactly what this is. We will unfold it all as it comes here on America's Voice. We'll be right back.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra-soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
It certainly is a busy Wednesday here at America's Voice Live. Steve Gruber and Tudor Dixon here with you. News just coming at us from all directions here, Tudor. Not the least of which is the latest on the salon owner in California where Nancy Pelosi went and didn't wear a mask to get her hair done and doesn't wear a mask when she gets her hair washed and so on and so forth. Our own Ben Berquam is in California now with an update on this story. Ben, good to have you here as always. Now, your hair is a little more manageable than Nancy's, as I can see.
Yeah, I actually do mine myself, so I don't have to worry about getting caught in a salon with, without my mask on. But no, it is. It's the thing that I think people are so sick of is the double standard. And whether it's Joe Biden, we just had the information today with Just the News and John Solomon bringing that out about Joe Biden, or what we see with Nancy Pelosi here walking through a salon and with no mask on, telling everyone else, basically shutting down these businesses for over 6 months, and then living the double standard. And so I had the opportunity to interview the salon owner, Erica, on Monday. She was actually at the rally here in Fresno. And this is what she had to say.
But at that time, I mean, we've been out of work for 6 months. So I was just like, I just saw it and I knew it was wrong. And that's when I just had to turn over the video. Because if she's able to be in there safely,
right,
why isn't other clients able to come in there?
What, did you set her up?
No, I've had those cameras in there forever. So no, absolutely not.
They want to make them do badly until...
And there's another part. President Trump's going to be. We may toss to that as well. But that was, she went on to talk about how her business has been attacked, how she's basically been forced to shut down in San Francisco. And ironically enough, where did she move to? She's actually opening a new salon here in Fresno, California, because it's basically the last conservative stronghold where you won't be attacked for just wanting to run your business. And so it was pretty neat to be able to talk to her. It's sad what's happened, though. I mean, and the worst part to me is the fact that Nancy Pelosi, she had an opportunity to say, I screwed up. I'm telling you guys to do this, and I didn't do it. I'm not living up to my own standards. But instead of doing that, she lied, like we've come to expect from politicians. She lied and said, I was set up. I mean, you talk about salt in the wound. It's just, it's shameless.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And so many people, that's exactly what people came out and said. It would have been better for her to just say, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done that, but more attention was called to it because she didn't. Now, explain to us, is she allowed to open a salon in Fresno? Is it just, I've heard that there are maybe 22 counties in California that have things shut down, or are salons shut down across the entire state and she is opening still illegally?
They are opening slowly. So Fresno County has started to slowly open the salons here this month, and but a lot of businesses are still shut down. That's why they had the rally on Monday to say October 1st, everything open. This is nonsense. Picking winners and losers is absolutely nonsense. But all of the requirements, they're still required to wear a mask. They're still required to have all of their clientele wear masks when they come in there. So they are following the guidelines, even though CDC keeps changing its mind on what you should or shouldn't do. The business owners are willing to do it. They just say, let us be open and live by the same standards that you set for us.
I have a question for you, Ben, about Botox. Not for you, maybe for me, maybe not for me, but the president last night at the podium having a little bit of fun. We've talked more about hair in this program than I've talked about hair probably in any news program ever. We've talked about Joe Biden's hair and Nancy Pelosi's hair, a little bit about yours and mine. But I wonder if she has a chance to get in this chair and get her Botox injections. Is that legal in California?
I haven't checked that, but that would actually be a really good thing. I think she's overdone it. We call her, we graciously call her spastic fingers out here because I think she gets it in her fingers as well. But maybe it's a good thing. Maybe the Botox salon's shutting down. Maybe it'll help her realize the error of her ways.
Maybe.
There is this massive amount of space where between her eyebrows and her eyes where you could fit another whole set of eyes. It is strange, but I think that is perhaps
that's a whole other topic.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I'll have to ask Erica about that next time.
Okay, sounds good. Ben Bergquam, thank you for reporting all of the important stuff from California. It is very important to open the country. And Steve, so many states are going to have these because I even heard in Michigan they're saying that they're just going to start opening restaurants. We were talking earlier today about the fact that 4,000 restaurants will close.
Yeah.
They
will
close
the problem.
because...
Yeah, permanently. But here's the problem that you're facing, whether it's California or Michigan or New York City. What they hold over these business owners, whether it's a salon or a restaurant or a gym, you pick your business. It's that license to do business. And all of the states do it. They have a license to do business. And if they feel you're in violation, they send the health department out. And the health department then gives you a ticket that also comes with a cease and desist order, you see. So Nancy Pelosi's spa there in California, well, Kia's spa, actually, being shut down, Erica's spa there, it's too bad for her. She got run out of town for that reason. But Nancy Pelosi could have gotten them a health department violation health department violations being issued all over the state that we live in, Tudor. The same thing happening in New York City. So, yeah, you can say, I'm going to open. But we saw the New Jersey gym owners dragged off in handcuffs not that long ago for violating health code directives from the government in New Jersey, and it leaves people in a position that's very vulnerable because, okay, can you survive being ordered to shut down by the government for, say, 6 months or whatever it turns out to be? It's more than 6 months for some people right now. Or do you take the risk and say, I don't have any choice, I've got to go back to work, otherwise I'm broke, everybody that works here is out of business, and it's over. And if you do go back to business, they say, well, we're taking your license, and it's over anyway. I mean, these are lousy choices for business owners to have, just lousy choices, because it is no choice. Do I commit financial suicide by not opening my doors, or do I commit financial suicide by opening the door and having the government drop a health department violation bomb right on top of me? You see, it's a no-win for so many people, and it's patently unfair to force people out of business when they're not doing anything putting other people at risk. These businesses, Tudor, as you know, are very good at cleaning up after themselves and making sure that what they're doing keeps their customers, whatever they're doing, safe. We all know that. We've all seen that.
Right. Here in Michigan, we've had 3 businesses have their liquor license suspended in the last month, and that's because they have people go in there and they're saying, oh, we weren't social distance, we didn't have masks. Some of these smaller towns, people think they don't have to have masks inside the businesses, but now they're asking people to tattle. They're literally giving out the number and saying, if you see somebody, tell. And this is the state that we're in today. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this. Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advanced Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
Well, the president and vice president continue to travel around the country. We know the president was in Pennsylvania last night, and the vice president, Mike Pence, he was in New Hampshire. Our own Heather Mullins was there. We want to get a report from her on that now. Heather.
Thanks, Tudor. Well, you know, I've been to my fair share of President Trump's rallies. This was my first Vice President Mike Pence rally, so I really wanted to see what it was going to be like. And there was no shortage of support for the vice president. And I had the opportunity to ask probably 50 or 60 people, what is it about the vice president that brought you out here today? I put together a little thing for you to show you so many answers we got. Take a look.
What a fantastic job he did with the coronavirus and taking on that task. He did an excellent job, and God bless him for what he had done.
Yeah, they do what they say they're going to do. That's the best thing. And just like Joe Biden says, the people elect the president, and the president picks the Supreme Court. I couldn't agree with him more.
I like that he's pro-life, number one, and many other things. He's just a nice gentleman.
Well, he claims to be a Christian. I like that. I'm a Christian, and he represents the values that I represent, and I believe the Constitution represents, and the values that the country was founded upon. And that's why I'm voting for he and Trump.
The number one answer I got was, without doubt, his handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, we know President Trump appointed him to be the leader of the coronavirus task force, and it was recognized by voters in New Hampshire. The second most common answer I got was his faith, that he as a president is committed to putting his faith first, that his values come from biblical standards. And for those of you that don't know what that might sound like, I have an incredible, heartfelt set of words from the vice president last night that I want you guys to take a look at.
And finally, in these times of great challenge in the life of our nation, where we seem to see more division than any time in my lifetime, I'd encourage you to exercise that other kind of faith too. If you're of a mind to bow the head or bend the knee from time to time, I'd encourage you to do that too. And on this one, I'm not so much asking for you to pray for a candidate or a team or the cause. You know, I truly do believe that there will always be more that unites us in this country than could ever divide us, and chief among those things is faith. So claim those ancient words, that if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray and turn, he'll do like he's always done in much more challenging times in the life of this nation. He'll hear from heaven and he'll heal this land, this one nation under God.
And you know, after hearing him give that heartfelt speech, hearing him paraphrase 2 Chronicles 7:14, bringing scripture and the Bible and faith to the table during what could be the most trying year in American history, I think it just speaks volumes about the vice president's character, and apparently so do all the voters down there in Guilford, New Hampshire, because we saw so many people just praising him for this faith-based personality that he has in having these conversations. And we also know that this year, 2020, more Bible sales, like it's a record number of Bible sales because people are turning to faith to try to get through these hard times. So maybe the vice president is onto something where we need to start bringing faith back to the table of discussion. Back to you guys.
Heather, thank you for that. A lot of people think the same. They do. A lot of people think about faith, Tudor. They think that faith is something that's been lacking in our schools. God's been kicked out of the classroom and kicked out of the town square, kicked out of sporting events. It's a topic that a lot of people connect with, Tudor. I think that it's something that Mike Pence has always been very clear about where he stands on this, right? I mean, you know that. You've seen him a number of times. So have I. He's never been shy to say we need to have more faith in what we do.
Absolutely. In fact, the president spoke about this yesterday at the UN. He came out and said, I have defended religious freedoms. I will continue. He called on the UN to also do the same. This has been one of the benchmarks of the entire administration, is to protect religious freedom and to ensure faith for all people. I think it's very important that this vice president go out with this message. The president always talks about it, but you have the vice president following up in all of these states and very engaged, very involved. You know that his faith is what leads him. You know that with Mike Pence, it is God above all else, and then comes family and then country.
It's certainly right. I had the opportunity to meet him out on the campaign trail in 2016 and catch a couple of his rallies, and he is genuine. A totally different kind of campaigner than Donald Trump, but then again, nobody's quite like the president when it comes to putting on a rally. But Mike Pence gives a solid speech. He certainly does give a solid speech, Tudor. There's no question about that. All right, we're taking a quick break here as we round out hour number one. Hour number two of America's Voice Live right around the corner for this Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Glad you're with us here on America's Voice Live on this Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020. Let's take a look at today's headline news. This Friday, the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will become the first woman to lie in state in National Sanctuary Hall in the Capitol. Senator Lindsey Graham says the Senate has to vote the votes to confirm the new justice before the election. And there's a bombshell report out about Hunter Biden and his dealings with Russia, China, and the Ukraine. And of course, the president spoke at the UN yesterday, and he did not hold back on the subject of China, in fact. As of today, though, the Justice Ginsburg is lying in repose at the tops of the steps of the Supreme Court, but her casket will move to the Capitol on Friday, where she will then be lying in state. This is a great honor. In fact, only 34 others have been honored this way, but all of them were men. Justice Ginsburg is the first woman, Steve.
Well, you know, there is some debate about that. You and I talked about this a couple of different times. The point being is that Rosa Parks lied at the state capitol in the rotunda in her casket October 30th and 31st, 2005, at the direction of George W. Bush, the president, of course. But she was there lying in honor, I'm told. Apparently there's a distinction if you're a private citizen as opposed to somebody who worked in the government, which is why RBG is lying in state. Rosa Parks was lying in honor. Now, I don't know what the real difference is other than their job classification or title. Both important women in American history, depending on who you ask. RBG, of course, missed dearly by the left already because they know there's little that can be done to stop the process going forward to have the president select a new member of the United States Supreme Court who will likely be seated before the election here, which is just 41 days ahead now. Remarkably, 41 days from now, we will have the election on November the 3rd. But RBG being honored as a justice, an associate justice at the Supreme Court, where she served 27 years, a lion for the left. They would say a justice who made Teddy Kennedy, that is, proud to say the least.
Yes, absolutely. I want to switch gears here, though, because we did have the president speaking at the UN yesterday, and he did have a lot to say about China. We know his feelings on China, but he says it's not just the U.S. that should hold China accountable. It's everybody. Here it is.
We must hold accountable the nation which unleashed this plague onto the world, China. In the earliest days of the virus, China locked down travel domestically while allowing flights to leave China and infect the world. China condemned my travel ban on their country, even as they canceled domestic flights and locked citizens in their homes. The Chinese government and the World Health Organization, which is virtually controlled by China, falsely declared that there was no evidence of human-to-human transmission. Later, they falsely said people without symptoms would not spread the disease. The United Nations must hold China accountable for their actions.
And Steve, think about that. They really did protect their country, and they let the virus get out.
Well, that's the accusation being leveled time and again by those not just in the United States, but across Europe and elsewhere. The Australians, the New Zealanders, and others taking strong action against China as well, because they contend the Chinese were dishonest. They used their friends at the World Health Organization to mislead everyone else around the world about the dangers of the coronavirus and the subsequent COVID-19 disease. But those weren't the only strong words the president had for China in front of the UN. In fact, the environment came up as well. It's important to note that China is treated as a third world nation when it comes to cleaning up after itself. Unlike the United States or Europe or Canada, we have to act like first world nations. China does not. They get a break on all of these things. The president took issue with that as well. Listen to this.
Destroys vast swaths of coral reef and emits more toxic mercury into the atmosphere than any country anywhere in the world. China's carbon emissions are nearly twice what the U.S. has, and it's rising fast. By contrast, after I withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord, last year America reduced its carbon emissions by more than any country in the agreement. Those who attack America's exceptional environmental record while ignoring China's rampant pollution are not interested in the environment. They only want to punish America, and I will not stand for it.
I love it.
Steve, I've talked about it several times that China is the #1 polluter in the world, and it's something that people need to call out. I'm glad that I was hearing our president call it out. Of course, he also talked about the peace agreements, very important. Had some interesting things to say about that. I want you to listen to it because I think he's calling some folks out here, Steve.
Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain all signed a historic peace agreement in the White House, with many other Middle Eastern countries to come. They are coming fast, and they know it's great for them and it's great for the world. These groundbreaking peace deals are the dawn of the new Middle East. By taking a different approach, we have achieved different outcomes, far superior outcomes. We took an approach, and the approach worked. We intend to deliver more peace agreements shortly, and I have never been more optimistic for the future of the region. There is no blood in the sand. Those days are hopefully over.
No blood
Pretty
in the
remarkable,
sand.
really. Yeah, pretty remarkable. I mean, you think about how far this president has come. John Kerry, remember his remarks that we would all be at war in the Middle East. There would be bodies stacked up and blood running in the sand and so forth. And that was just if the president moved the embassy for the United States to Jerusalem and Israel. None of these things came to pass, of course. And the president also had this theme, because he's been heavily criticized here at home by certain sections of the narrative, that putting America first is somehow racist or misogynist or unfair. It puts certain people at an advantage and disadvantages others. Well, the president's advice to the rest of the world was the same that he gives to us here at home, and that is put your countries first. Put your priorities first. Look out for what's happening in your neighborhood first. It's an important thing to do. Here's the president one more time.
For decades, the same tired voices proposed the same failed solutions, pursuing global ambitions at the expense of their own people. But only when you take care of your own citizens will you find a true basis for cooperation. As president, I have rejected the failed approaches of the past, and I am proudly putting America first, just as you should be putting your countries first. That's okay. That's what you should be doing.
That's okay. That's what you should do. It's okay to look out for yourself and make sure your neighbors are okay, and your countrymen and women. It's okay. And I appreciate the president saying that and giving a nod to so many other countries around the world. Go ahead and look out for yourselves first. We're not offended. We understand. We get that. And Tudor, it's an important consideration. So it's nice to know that he is consistent at home and when talking to countries around the world.
Absolutely, yes. And I love the fact that he points it out to them, because I think for so long there has been this, he's not a huge fan of the United Nations. He's saying this is a group that is supposed to combat sex trafficking, should take care of women, should take care of religion. You should come together on the big issues. But when it comes to your country, fight for your country. That's what you should do, Steve.
Absolutely. And I do want to get to this before we get to the next break here, and that is this bombshell report released and spearheaded by Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa. It is a damning report when it comes to Hunter Biden and his connections to Ukraine, to Burisma, to Russia. In fact, part of the report says that Hunter Biden got a $3.5 million wire transfer from the former wife, the widow, if you will, of the former mayor of Moscow. $3.5 million. That's just one of many revelations in this 87-page bombshell report that came out today. Money flying in every direction. It involves Ukraine. It involves Hunter Biden. It involves Chris Hines, the stepson of the former Secretary of State John Kerry. The report even accuses John Kerry, the former Secretary of State, of lying to people in New Hampshire in 2019, saying he knew nothing about the connections with Burisma and the money and the payoffs. The allegations here are many. They're extensive. It's a huge report. Like I said, 87 pages in length and a lot to sort through. It will be big news, Tudor, for folks here on this network, of course, and across the news empire that we work sometimes right here inside.
Absolutely. And as I said yesterday at the UN, the president called out sex trafficking across the globe. That was also in the report. It will be interesting to see how hard he wants to fight against this. I don't think he's going to back down. We'll be right back here on America's Voice Live.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra-soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Yet another seminal moment in American history came Friday night when we learned of the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a justice who had elicited strong emotion on both sides. Those on the left loved her and adored her. Those on the right, not so much. Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying at 87 from prostate cancer, from pancreatic cancer, at 87, and leaving the door open for the president to fill that seat. Several women at the top of the list, including Amy Coney Barrett, Barbara Lagoa, and others. David Brody joining us from Just the News now to take a closer look at the women that might take the seat once held for 27 years by the notorious RBG, as some call her. David, a good conversation to have today. Where do you think we start? Who's the front runner and why?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. It's Amy Coney Barrett. She was the runner-up last time when Brett Kavanaugh got the choice. And as a matter of fact, we even know that Donald Trump at one point said he was saving, that was the word he used, saving Amy Coney Barrett for RBG seat. So unless there's some last-second surprise here, maybe a Barbara Lagoa at the last moment, potentially, I think this is Amy Coney Barrett. She's got a really interesting story to tell, but she is going to be hammered. I mean, look, if Brett Kavanaugh was bad, I mean, that's going to be child's play compared to what's about to happen if it is Amy Coney Barrett.
Now we're hearing stories out of the White House, and maybe you can give us some insight on this, that Barbara Lagoa has gained some momentum, if you will, against Amy Coney Barrett, because there are two schools of thought here. Amy Coney Barrett being the lock, the go-to, the sure thing, but Barbara Lagoa, Hispanic, Cuban-American, could bring voters from Florida, maybe Arizona, to the table on November the 3rd. And so there could be a political calculation here, and we understand from sources that I have, that's an ongoing back and forth. What do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question about it that is the back and forth going on, and that there is some political calculus there. Look, you have Matt Gaetz, a congressman from Florida. You have Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, the former governor, the senator now, all basically trying to talk to Donald Trump about Barbara Lagoa. And so there is this last-second push, if you will. And sure, from a political standpoint, there's no doubt it makes some sense. But, I mean, are we really going to start picking Supreme Court nominations based on battleground states? Look, I'm not saying it's not political. There's no doubt there's politics involved. But now we're going to start to select Florida, or next time it's at Iowa from a battleground state. I mean, I think that's overthinking it here. I think Amy Coney Barrett is the logical, most consensus pick here for sure. Now remember, with Amy Coney Barrett, a lot of evangelicals like her, a lot of pro-life Catholics. So you can make the argument politically as well that with going with Amy Coney Barrett, it's going to help him in political states, battleground states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and many of the Catholic voters there. So that argument can be made both ways.
The notorious ACB is in the pole position, and so tell me about her qualifications, because we're already hearing the slings and arrows come at her, calling her a cult member for her allegiance to being a devout Catholic, and other criticisms from the left that I think are unfair and across the line. But after we saw what happened to Brett Kavanaugh, I don't think anything will shock us today. Your thoughts?
Unfortunately, you're right. Nothing is going to shock us today. Already there's a Reuters article out about Amy Coney Barrett with this title, Handmaid's Tale, with a question mark. And they're talking about Amy Coney Barrett's involvement in, let's face it, it's a Bible study. It's called People of Praise. And it's a bit Pentecostal, you know, where they raise their hands. And it's a little bit more extroverted, but it's also Catholic in nature as well. And so, as you might imagine, liberals are having a field day with that, and so she'll get hammered on that. She was hammered on that as well back in the day when she was confirmed for the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. She only got 55 votes, 55-45, and Dianne Feinstein, as you know, actually said to her during the hearing, the dogma lives loudly within you. And so if we thought that line, which reverberated at the time and many interpreted as anti-Catholic bias, if we think that line was something, wait till the hearing this time around.
But there's a problem here for the left, David, and that is the Kavanaugh effect. We know that 4 sitting Democrat senators from right-leaning states all lost their seats. North Dakota, Missouri, Indiana, and Florida all pushed out the door because of the way that the Democrats behaved in 2018 with Brett Kavanaugh. The one guy that survived, Joe Manchin, West Virginia, the reddest of all those states. And yet he won re-election because he voted to support Brett Kavanaugh. And I have to ask, there's a political calculus here as well. You could push back on this woman. You said it yourself at the top. She has a great story to tell. 7 kids, 1 with Down syndrome, 2 that are adopted from Haiti, and other parts of her story that are very compelling, especially to those suburban moms that are so coveted by all the campaigns, right? So she has a story to tell. Can the Democrats really come at her the way they did Brett Kavanaugh?
Well, it'll be hard, but at the same time, not really. Not that hard. Look, if they came after Brett Kavanaugh, you can be sure they're coming after Amy Coney Barrett, specifically on her faith. Like I said, we've seen that already. We're going to see more attacks going forward. Here's the problem for Democrats. Good luck. Knock yourself out. There's nothing you can do. Republicans have the votes. Mitt Romney is going to vote for an actual up or down vote. So Mitt Romney's going to say that we should have a vote before Election Day. And with that, Mitch McConnell has it. I mean, Susan Collins will vote no, not on Barrett necessarily, but will vote no on even holding a vote. Lisa Murkowski's a no on holding a vote, but that leaves it at 51. If you get below 50, then you got a problem. They're not going to get below 50. So as much as this hearing could become a circus, the truth of the matter is they've got the votes to confirm her if they can just get her through the hearing. But I tell you what, this is going to be the Democrats are going to employ the scared straight strategy. They're going to say America is not ready for Amy Coney Barrett, and we'll see if the polling reflects that and see if any GOP Republican senators get cold feet and decide to change their mind at the last moment. That's what we're really looking for here.
David Brody, I want to ask you just one more question here, because I guess if it's not Amy Coney Barrett, if for any reason it's one of the others, any belief that it could be Allison Jones Rushing or Judge Joan Larson? Those are two of the others that are mentioned on the short list. Rushing is just 38 years old. I mean, I can see where a conservative Christian that's 38 on the court would be attractive to a president, but you say this thing's all sewed up.
Yeah, I got to tell you, at this point, politically, it would be really a problem for President Trump if he didn't nominate Amy Coney Barrett, because evangelicals will love the pick. Evangelical leaders are whispering in his ear to say, you got to do it. You got to take the plunge with her. So if he pulls back and doesn't do it, I think that I'm not going to get into depressed turnout, but it will be a problem for this president if he doesn't actually pull the trigger on her specifically.
And I wonder if the Democrats talking about packing the court will also force Republicans to the polls. That's for another day, David. I greatly appreciate you being here. David Brody, justthenews.com. You can find out more and read his latest right there. But we will talk about packing the court, because there is the belief that that will push more Republicans to the polls, because they think the Democrats are trying to nullify what's happening with the U.S. Supreme Court. More America's Voice Live in a moment.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Mail-in ballots are going to be the biggest issue come November, because now we're hearing election week, but in some cases it could be election 2 weeks. I know in Michigan now they're saying 2 weeks that you can take your ballot, you can have your ballot delivered after. As long as you had it postmarked by the day, you can actually, they can count it up to 2 weeks after. Is that how it's working, Steve? How does it work that you get it postmarked but then it doesn't arrive for 2 weeks. I'm not sure I totally understand that, but some other folks are jumping on the bandwagon because you have Wisconsin doing something similar. Now North Carolina has to be postmarked by Election Day, but can be counted 9 days after, and you can actually cure your ballot. If there's something wrong with your ballot, if it doesn't have a signature or a photo ID, then you can go back. And no later than Thursday, November 12th, you have to go back to the County Board of Elections. Yes, November 12th. November 12th. Get a cure certificate. Get a cure certificate. That's how it works.
You can cure your ballot. That's fascinating. But isn't it ironic? Not really, but you've got North Carolina, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, all now putting forth measures that would allow ballots to be counted from 6 to 14 days after the end of the election. This is absurd, of course. And I wonder if these decisions are going to hold up. I say that, Tudor, because you have in Michigan, for example, a constitutional amendment that says ballots are due by 8 p.m. of Election Day, not 8 p.m. of the day after or the week after or 2 weeks after. I know in Pennsylvania, the Republican Party there is taking the matter of a 9-day extension for counting ballots all the way to the Supreme Court. It'll be the first big test in a post-RBG world on ballot harvesting and so forth. I mean, let's be honest. If it has to be postmarked by Election Day and somebody's watching election results and they see how many votes you're down in Wisconsin or North Carolina or Pennsylvania, pick your battleground, and they get them in the mailbox before midnight, therefore they're postmarked. I mean, does anybody see a problem with this? Does anybody see the possibility there could be voter fraud or cheating or people trying to put their thumb on the scale? I mean, Norm Coleman was elected senator in the state of Minnesota right up until they found a trunk full of ballots miraculously. And he lost his race by a couple of hundred votes. Isn't that weird? They found a trunk. Oh, look at this trunk full of ballots in this car. Isn't it magical? That's the kind of thing that undermines election integrity in the mind of the voters, leaves American citizens wondering what the truth is, and it's the kind of gamesmanship and nonsense that we should not be willing to put up with.
No, these are definitely ballot shenanigans that we're going to be going through, and we won't know on November 3rd. We won't know who the president is. We will go through this, and it will be worse than Florida with Al Gore. It'll be worse than hanging Chads. There'll be lawsuits in all these states. But notice that these are major battleground states that we're seeing this in. We're seeing this in Wisconsin. We're seeing this in Michigan. This is how it's going to be, Steve, and we're going to be. We will not have a president on November 3rd. We will not know a president on November 3rd.
Well, we'll find out because, like I said, lawsuits are being filed against the decision in Michigan, the one in Pennsylvania. The consent decree in North Carolina is a bit more confusing to me. I can't figure out how that one might come out. But again, isn't it interesting? The Democrats making these moves only in key battleground states. Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that unless they thought they were in trouble there? It reminds me of what Mike Bloomberg is doing in Florida. He wants to spend $20 million, does Mike Bloomberg in Florida, to pay the fines, fees, and costs of convicted felons, about 32,000 in all, in the hopes that they might vote for a Democrat. Now, this happened yesterday. Today we found out why. A brand new ABC News Washington Post poll shows that President Trump is up by 4 points in the Sunshine State, and the lead is getting wider. So Democrats are panicking. They're trying to figure out how they can rig the election with late balloting. They're trying to figure out if Mike Bloomberg, and we don't even know if this is legal, by the way, can pay off the fines and fees of convicted felons. Now, isn't it interesting that the felons, convicted criminals, they want them on the voter rolls because those are good folks, while Democrats call average working Americans deplorables. Let that marinate for a minute. Convicted criminals, convicted felons who haven't paid their bills are the people that Democrats want them to vote for them in 2020. But other people that do go to work every day, that work hard to look out for their families, those, I mean, just let that roll around for a minute and let that kind of sink in. I mean, really? The deplorables are the folks that go to work and pay their bills, and the people that Mike Bloomberg pays their bill, convicted felons, those are the good guys that you want them to vote for you? Come on.
And Steve, people may not think that this is that significant, but when you're talking about 30,000 votes in Florida, Donald Trump won Michigan by 10,000 votes. This is very possible that they could come in and buy this election. That's what Mike Bloomberg is wanting to do. And buying the election is truly illegal. You are not allowed to do what he's talking about doing. And there has been pushback from Congress on this. They're saying he's essentially giving them the gift to go vote for a Democrat. It's sketchy. Stay tuned. We're going to take a break. We'll be back.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges, and even shaves with micro precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look, the Solo Full Body Groomer trims precisely the length of hair you want. Snap off the guide and remove unwanted hair anywhere in seconds. What makes Solo different than your ordinary razor? Dual-sided German stainless steel blade. Shave up or down at 200 microstrokes per second. The Ultra Flex pivoting head contours perfectly to you for precise results. 3 custom grooming guides for control of exact length and shape. And a built-in LED light so you never miss a spot. Solo is so precise, you need no creams, no soaps, and no water. Ditch the old man clippers and toss the scissors. You've got to go solo. Call 1-800-709-9777 or go online at microtouchsolo.com and get yours now for only $19.99. Complete with German stainless steel blade, pivoting head, built-in spotlight, and 3 custom grooming guides. Everything you see here for just $19.99. The all-new MicroTouch Solo Full Body Groomer. The one tool that does it all.
America's Voice Live, good to have you here on this Wednesday. A lot of news breaking, whether it's the Supreme Court about gun rights or the gun rights of the young man who was defending himself in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and shot and killed 2 of the rioters around him. What's going on there? And then breaking news now in Kentucky. The grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case indicting just 1 of 3 of the police officers involved, and only for wanton endangerment, not directly for Breonna Taylor's death in that no-knock warrant that was served. My next guest is Dudley Brown, president of the National Association for Gun Rights. Dudley, good to have you here on the program this Wednesday.
Thank you.
So the Breonna Taylor shooting, obviously wantonly shot a gun. That's what the charges read by Judge Annie O'Connell said of one of the officers involved in the shooting, Brett Hankinson. The other 2, no indictments at all in this case. And so obviously you can anticipate a lot of violent behavior, possibly riots in the streets. But what do you make of this? It seems to me the judge is looking at the law, looking at the circumstances involved, and arriving at a decision that only 1 officer out of 3 should even be facing any criminal charges, and it's a 1 to 5 year charge, if I'm not mistaken. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, there are a lot of different cases that American protesters are screaming about, and whether it be the Breonna Taylor case, which there were certainly some extenuating circumstances there that I saw, but it certainly seemed that a no-knock raid really doesn't serve justice very well in most cases, and I've been critical, and I know Senator Rand Paul has sponsored a bill in the U.S. Senate to stop no-knock raids. But you look into Wisconsin at the Kyle Rittenhouse issue, and where large groups of people are rioting and burning, and based on the fact that a man who had a restraining order and was had a warrant out for him, and and he was armed, and there were a lot of very bad circumstances, and people are mad that man was that the police had to shoot him, and we all seen that video. So there's not a whole lot of logic.
Let's talk about Kyle Rittenhouse for a minute here, Debbie. I want to focus on. I want to focus on Kyle Rittenhouse here just a little bit, because obviously he was demonized immediately in the media. He was called out as and accused of a variety of different things, of wantonly killing peaceful protesters, as they put it, and then murdering people in the streets, and having an illegal weapon and so forth. What I have come to understand, and help me with this if you could, what I've come to understand is, number one, that rifle, this is according to his attorney, to Kyle Rittenhouse's attorney, the firearm involved in the shootings in Kenosha that claimed 2 lives and injured a third, that firearm did not cross state lines. Therefore, Kyle Rittenhouse was legally in possession of that firearm at the time of the shooting.
Correct.
At the time of the shooting, he was in fear for his life on 2 different occasions and shot in self-defense. In fact, in the video of the second shooting in the middle of the street that we've all seen, the 2 assailants come after him, one with a handgun, who looked like he was coming to kill Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle fired at him, did severe damage to his arm, but didn't kill that man. What do you make of Kyle Rittenhouse? Was it self-defense from what you've seen?
Well, and there's even more information. One of them that just came out over the last couple of days is that a video showing Kyle Rittenhouse with a fire extinguisher hours before the shooting incident, in which he's trying to put out the fires that arsonists like Rosenbaum and the Antifa thugs were lighting, and he's running around with a medical kit and a fire extinguisher trying to put them out and stop that, and that's what caused some of the leftist protesters to scream and yell, "Kill him!" And in fact, we see the video of him being shot at with a handgun prior to him discharging his rifle. He's a 17-year-old young man who frankly handled himself better than most law enforcement officers do in that kind of circumstance, and used a firearm for self-defense. It was a legal firearm. It was a rifle that was there in Wisconsin and stored at a friend's house, is my understanding from talking to his attorney. And we looked at the situation as an organization and said, we got to do something. That's why we raised $51,000 and wrote the check to Wendy Rittenhouse, Kyle's mother, and through her trust, to get their family through this very difficult time. She obviously lost her job, as did Kyle. Kyle's still in jail in Illinois.
Yeah, Debbie, I want you to weigh on hearing. I want you to weigh in on this criticism that I have heard from some gun owners in this discussion about Kyle. He is 17. Legally in possession of the gun, we now know. There were some questions about it earlier, but some of the criticisms I've heard from gun owners, people that I know and others that I've listened to, say that he was failed at 17 for being down there in the first place. They knew it was a violent situation, whether he was legal or not with that firearm. He's going to live with this for the rest of his life. He killed 2 people, maimed a third. Regardless of the circumstances, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I respectfully disagree with those gun owners that you cite. I don't know any of them, but I've heard some critical comments from the gun-owned community. And I can tell you this, my organization opposes these ridiculous laws that would stop a 17-year-old who by all definitions is essentially an adult and transitioning into an adult, so to speak. And he can join the military, he can drive a tank, he can even fire the main gun, but he can't own a rifle. Here's the even more interesting part of all this. The state of Wisconsin wants to charge him as an adult. And so, but yet they're trying to say that he didn't legally have the right to possess that rifle in Wisconsin. And I just say that's baloney. First of all, the Second Amendment doesn't delineate down to age. And in fact, that ties in with the potential of Justice Barrett being nominated to the Supreme Court, which is what we hope happens on Saturday. She actually ruled that even felons should be able to possess firearms as long as they're nonviolent and there's no state interest in stopping them.
And Dudley, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because the Supreme Court obviously pivotal. And in fact, Dr. John Lott I was talking to here just earlier today, and he says that this is the most critical election concerning firearms ownership that America may have ever seen or witnessed, because what happens here could change everything. Let me give you some examples. Those on the left would start by raising the age to purchase and possess any firearm to 21, not just handguns, but any firearm to 21. They want a national gun registry. Joe Biden's spokespeople have said they want a national gun registry, and they also want mandatory, as Kamala Harris puts it, mandatory buyback programs, which, where I come from, we call that confiscation. So there are a whole laundry list of things that they want to do. A mandatory buyback is confiscation, isn't it, Dudley?
Of course it is. When the ATF comes to kick in your door and throw flashbangs in your house, they're not buying it back. They're there to shoot you if you don't hand their gun, and they're confiscating your firearms. Now, I don't think it's quite as black and white a situation. I know John Lotwell. I don't quite agree with him. I don't believe it's as black and white a situation. This president actually has a very poor record on guns. He's endorsed red flag. He's endorsed, of course, he banned bump stocks. He's done a number of things after the Las Vegas shooting that gun owners are not happy about, and it's probably only the riots that have made him start thinking, well, gosh, this might be the lesser of two evils. But President Donald Trump has not been great on guns. Sorry, anybody who tells you that's lying to you. But clearly, Joe Biden is very bad on guns, and
on balance, I don't think you have a choice. And Amy Coney Barrett, if she is selected to the Supreme Court, that seals the deal. We got about 20 seconds here. I'll give you the last word.
I will tell you that we're happy to support a young man like Kyle Rittenhouse as a lifeguard and defend him, and we're looking for other cases to help. And the simple fact is, law enforcement needs to start arresting violent offenders, including some of those people in Kenosha, Wisconsin, who were shooting at Kyle Rittenhouse.
Dudley Brown, president of the National Association for Gun Rights. We're going to leave it right there, my friend. Thank you for being here today. Good discussion. A lot to discuss when it comes to guns, about the Supreme Court, the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and so much more in 2020. Quick break here on America's Voice Live. We'll be back.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this.
Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advanced Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
We've been talking about the case of Breonna Taylor. We know that the city of Louisville had a state of emergency in advance of the decision made on the officers in the case. I want to bring in Pastor Daryl Scott. He is the author of the new book, Nothing to Lose, Unlikely Allies in the Struggle for a Better Black America. Pastor Daryl Scott, thank you for coming back on.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk to you about this Breonna Taylor case. It's a very interesting case because what we know of it from the phone records between the folks that were involved, is that the police came to the house. Now, it was a no-knock warrant, but they did knock. And apparently the gentleman, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, knew at the time that it was the police. He shot, they broke down the door, he shot, they shot. Obviously, Breonna Taylor got caught in the crossfire, but now they're calling for the city of Louisville to really burn down. I mean, the city is boarded up. If you've seen the pictures, every building is boarded up in response to what they think could be potentially more rioting there based on what just came out today. Now, we do know the breaking news that came out today is that only one of those officers was charged. He was charged with wanton endangerment. It is something that can carry a sentence of 1 to 5 years. And this was not because of how he reacted to or what happened with Breonna Taylor. It's not in response to Breonna Taylor's death. It's that he shot aimlessly into the apartment, ended up hitting other apartments. So only the neighboring apartments were listed as why he was getting these charges. What's your response to this whole situation, Pastor Scott?
Well, I think it's very unfortunate. It's a chapter in American history that we wish had not occurred. I don't think the response to any unpopular decision should be burn, loot, destroy, arson, especially when it's affecting people that had nothing to do with the incident in the first place. Now, in regards to this police officer, you know, there are a lot of pros and cons on it. The police didn't go there with the intention, I don't believe, that he went there with the premeditated intention of murdering or killing anyone. President Trump said something recently that I thought was significant. He said oftentimes police choke under pressure. I really believe that if this police officer had this moment back, he would have reacted a lot differently. I believe the shots rang out and he freaked, he panicked and just started shooting bullets. I don't think he shot to kill Breonna Taylor exclusively. And so, you know, I think the punishment may fit the crime. He shot randomly, indiscriminately. He should have been more trained and disciplined in that. They'll probably give him the max, which is 5 years. And I think that about sums it up. Her family did receive compensation. I think it was $12 million from Louisville that admitted wrongdoing. I mean, that doesn't bring a life back, but it's still an admission of wrongdoing. And this police officer, if he's the one that did shoot randomly and indiscriminately, he's the one being punished. If the other police officers were there, I mean, to be honest, it was a no-knock warrant. They knocked, they heard a shot, they returned gunfire. It is what it is. And if it hadn't been in the light of this current social climate, if it hadn't been black, white, we would have a different response from society regarding this.
Well, do you think that the president, now we know that a few months back the president met with some leaders in Dallas to talk about police reform. So what you are talking about is this really was a training issue with this officer. Do you think the president is going to take that into account when he talks about police reform? And what do you think his next steps on police reform will be?
Well, absolutely he's going to take it into account. You know, the president put forward a police reform initiative that the Democratic Congress rejected. But one of the items in his police reform bill is greater psychological profiling, greater training, greater mental health screening, and even follow-up to help relieve stress and pressures that officers might be under. So, of course, and you know, keep your ears tuned in. There are going to be some announcements forthcoming regarding some campaign promises, and I believe police reform is going to be included among that. But I really believe that police need to be better trained and they need to be better able mentally to adapt to challenging situations. I just believe this officer here he choked, as the president said, and so he wasn't able to handle it. And now he's suffering the consequences of choking.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Okay, I want to switch gears. I want to go to your book, Nothing to Lose, Unlikely Allies in the Struggle for a Better Black America. Your unlikely ally is the president. Am I right?
Yes, it is. I mean, who would have thought a black guy from the inner city of Cleveland and a white billionaire from Queens will wind up working together not only to run for president and win, but to improve living conditions in the black community. I think it's an interesting read. It's an easy read. I didn't overwrite, and I try not to underwrite. It's not a real long book, less than 200 pages, but it's an easy read. And I believe it's a page turner. It's, from what I've been told, it's very interesting. It chronicles the journey of my relationship with President Trump, beginning back in 2011. When he contemplated running for president in 2012, I would have been on board with him then. And it goes up to and through not only the campaign, but the first 3 years of his administration. It concludes right before the pandemic broke out. I think it's a very interesting read. I think you'll find the book very interesting and very satisfying.
Well, I have to ask you, we have the debates next week. How do you think that the president is going to handle those debates? Because we've watched Joe Biden. He continually stumbles. He struggled on the Pledge of Allegiance, Pastor Scott. This is a new low. He struggled on the Pledge of Allegiance. He thought there were 200 million Americans that would die of coronavirus. And I have to say, when I've watched all of the other Democrats talk about it, they're very clear on the numbers. If you want to be president of the United States, this is something you better be living. So how does President Trump handle, now we're hearing, well, President Trump has to handle him with kid gloves because he'll be bullying someone with dementia. I mean, that's where we are today. What do you think he does in these debates?
Well, first of all, Joe Biden said he wanted to take Trump back behind the gymnasium and go fisticuffs with him, so we don't have to worry about Trump bullying him. And that's number one. Number two, it depends on which Joe Biden shows up. If it's the ordinary, regular Joe Biden that we're used to, President Trump will annihilate him. But from what I understand, there's a secret Joe Biden clone robot that's under construction that they're hoping they have him ready in time for the debate so they can program the answers into him and maybe control it from somewhere else. You know, I'm just kidding when I say that. I think President Trump is going to manhandle Joe Biden, and that Joe Biden has already given a peek of his a peek into his response by people accusing the president of bullying. He's going to try to play the old doddering Joe and try to become a sympathetic figure in these debates because the president is going to manhandle him.
Pastor Darrell Scott, always love having you on. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges, and even shaves with micro precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look, the Solo Full Body Groomer trims precisely the length of hair you want. Snap off the guide and remove unwanted hair anywhere in seconds. What makes Solo different than your ordinary razor? Dual-sided German stainless steel blade. Shave up or down at 200 microstrokes per second. The Ultra Flex pivoting head contours perfectly to you for precise results. 3 custom grooming guides for control of exact length and shape. And a built-in LED light so you never miss a spot. Solo is so precise, you need no creams, no soaps, and no water. Ditch the old man clippers and toss the scissors. You've got to go solo. Call 1-800-709-9777 or go online at microtouchsolo.com and get yours now for only $19.99. Complete with German stainless steel blade, pivoting head, built-in spotlight, and 3 custom grooming guides. Everything you see here for just $19.99. The all-new MicroTouch Solo Full Body Groomer. The one tool that does it all.
There's something our audience may not know about Steve Gruber, so I wanted to bring a couple of stories in today that would have some special meaning to you. When I talk to Steve occasionally on the phone, he will park his car, get out of the car, and then tell me about the mushrooms that he is looking at, because he is a mushroom hunter. Well, I'm hoping that all of the mushrooms that he's hunting are edible for food, but now in Ann Arbor, which is not that far from you, Steve, it is legal to have psychedelic, or decriminalized. It's now decriminalized to have psychedelic mushrooms. That's not what you've been searching for when we've been talking on the phone, is it?
Well, we can talk about it after the show. I don't want to do it right here in front of, everybody watching. Of course not. That's not what I'm looking for. They don't grow here, by the way. They grow in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, how did I know that? Must have been a college class. They grow in the Pacific Northwest primarily, or in somebody's basement, I suppose. But Ann Arbor, Michigan, they say, hey, you know what? You can take a trip and never leave the farm. Nice, right? You can eat psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah, I think we're having a problem with your microphone, Steve. So I'm going to.
How about now?
Up here.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My mistake. But you got me all messed up there, and I got so messed up because of the mushroom hunting, I got lost there. But here's the thing. In Ann Arbor, Michigan, you're exactly right. I wasn't looking for that kind of mushroom, Tudor. They're only found in the Pacific Northwest. But in Ann Arbor, we ask ourselves, are these politicians high? And sometimes the answer, well, yeah, they voted 11-0. And these psychedelic mushrooms, apparently the folks in Ann Arbor think it's okay to take a trip, never leave the farm. Just take a trip and just stick around and make these not legal exactly, but I guess if the police find them, they don't care. You just have and so Ann Arbor, they voted 11-0. I'm kind of surprised by that, aren't you?
No, I actually no, because I think that is perfectly Ann Arbor. In Ann Arbor, they have that in downtown. They have little fairy doors on all the stores. I'm sure that the psychedelic mushrooms go along quite well with the fairy doors. It's an interesting town. It's an interesting college town.
It is.
But you know
colorful.
what you should not use mushrooms for, Steve? A bad mushroom story is coming out of Indiana. A woman researched mushrooms. Now, I want to say once again, remember the guy in Seattle who had the photos of burning up the police cars on his cloud, and then all of a sudden the police were able to look. Don't put things on your cell phone that you don't want people to see, because this woman made that mistake. She Googled how to kill someone with mushrooms. Then her husband went missing, and she didn't say anything for 3 days. Someone found, this is very sad, someone found his body on the side of the road. They actually, Steve, wouldn't have even known that it was the mushrooms that killed him, because apparently it leaves your system after 72 hours. They couldn't tell, but they found mushrooms in his stomach and determined that between what was on her cell phone and the fact that he was dead,
here's the lesson.
She killed him.
Yeah, but here's the lesson. Mushrooms can have very different effects. The ones that I find this time of year called maitake. They're good for you. They fight cancer. They help your serum cholesterol levels. They're great. The ones they have in Ann Arbor make you fly around and think you're Dumbo or something. And then the ones that lady used, well, they have a different outcome. So know the purpose of your mushroom. That's the lesson here. The mycelium is producing something different all the time, and just know. And better choice, know who's feeding you dinner too. Just saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. But a better story out of Ann Arbor, a nice story out of Ann Arbor. The University of Michigan doctors separated 1-year-old conjoined twins. This is a special story to me, having twins. I know the importance of that twin relationship. But yeah, here's these two little ones, these two little girls. They were conjoined twins. They did not share any limbs. They did not share a heart. They shared a liver, so they were concerned that the twins wouldn't make it to the surgery, and the surgery was postponed because of COVID, but they were able to successfully separate them, which I think is an awesome story, Steve. Also in Ann Arbor, no mushrooms.
It's remarkable. I spoke to Dr. Ben Carson earlier today on an unrelated story, but reminds me of that very story because Ben Carson was able to separate conjoined twins before he joined the Trump administration. An amazing story because you can separate a liver. You can separate a kidney. You can't separate a heart. So these young ladies, they are adorable too, by the way, very fortunate that they had some of the best people in the world working with them and their family. Can you imagine a parent? You know, the stress on a parent? Good Lord. That would age
No, and
me
mom and
greatly
dad had to
quickly.
sit in the car. They had to sit in the car
Yeah,
during the
that's-
surgery because of COVID-19.
Right, that's too much. You see, that's when COVID has gone way too far. We need to have parents of conjoined twins that are being separated by teams of surgeons. They should be allowed in. Just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I think anytime that your child is in surgery, I don't understand.
Yeah.
You can do the test for anybody else. Do it for the parents as well. But thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned because the National Pulse is next.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need